But today I'm going to be breaking down the historical radicalization of the Canaanite bloodline that's connected to eschatology, which corresponds to genetical self-preservation, eugenics, trafficking, political subjugation, and metaphysics, right? So with all that being said, the purpose of this video is to show people the true esoteric conception points of the Canaanite bloodline and the black nobility, whose predecessors are the cherubim, who are the 200 draconian fallen angels, who are known as the Khazarian Mafia, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, get those notes out. He spliced the Canaanites into existence through eugenics and humanoid gravitation experiments, right? And he basically gave them the edification on how to subjugate the seeds of ink, your fallen angels. And your fallen angels create the black nobility, who basically controls your Canaanite on a lower level. So like I said, there's not a coincidence that you see Yakub politicking with a black nobility more, with a blacker more, right? Because Yakub, he is the one who gave the edification to the Moor to give the Canaanite to rule over us for 6,000 years, but the 6,000 years is up in 2024. I told you that you get a 1813 Freemasonic Apocryphal Bible. It tells you that the year of 2023 is actually 5,999. The year of 2024 is the year 6,000. The 6,000 is up. 6,000 years is up in 2024, right? And this is, you know, Yakub giving them, giving the black nobility more the edification of tricknology. And what is the tricknology based on? Admiralty law, right? And it's based on Admiralty law, which is basically under the 5 evil principles of religion, politics, economics, socialism, genetically modified foods, and the pharmaceutical industry, which is being controlled by world leaders, United States presidents, and things of that nature. So this system in itself was created by the black nobility, and they gave the edification to the Canaanite. I told you, when you go to El's Holy Injil, Revelation 17:17, the evil reptilian gave power to the beast. Who was the beast? Is the Canaanite. Who was the evil reptilian? Your black nobility, draconian archons. So like I said, it's not a coincidence that you see the Canaanite, the Pope, kissing the feet of these black nobility, shape-shifting black nobility archons who are basically controlling everything behind the scenes. So the European is basically a front man, right? But today I'm going to be breaking down.
Have you heard about
the one at the top, what is called?
Don't even talk. See,
my humanity is my greatest shame. I will not help those who have destroyed this planet and its natural resources. Humans are hypocrites. Even if we wanted to live side by side with you, couldn't. Because you're too selfish to share. You won't even open your doors to your own kind in a moment of need. Why would we think you would welcome us? It's our turn now. Our people will restore balance, create a new world. Humanity's had its chance. Goodbye, Mrs. Eisenhower.
Black Lemurs and
Have you heard of the Have you heard of the Moors? No?
What if I told you the whole? But today I'm going to give an elaborate breakdown.
This is
the black nobility.
Do you information from my research to my
The Queen is the wealthiest person on earth. Her gold carriage alone is made of 4 tons of
system.
I got some.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. I am back with some groundbreaking information. If you're new to this channel, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But today we're going to be breaking down the complexities of the esoteric infrastructure of the black nobility, who are black faces who hide behind the perception of the European power structure in the matrix system through eugenics programs, economic disenfranchisement, dehumanization, and Eurocentric theology that takes you away from your sovereign capacity as an indigenous person in the geographical landmass of America. So as I told you before, the unseen hand is the hidden hand, and the hidden hand is the black hand, and the black hand is the black nobility, right? So all throughout ancient history, all they did was a bait and switch. They did a bait and switch and gave you the false perception of Europeans being in power when really it's the black nobility who are black faces, right? So right here, you're looking at Charles V was actually a swarthy man, right? So all they did was a reverse of frequency, right? Inverted knowledge. In analogy and microbiology, you will know that you get the recessive from the dominant. You don't get the dominant from the recessive. So that you have to understand that they got their concepts of and ideologies of white supremacy from black people who was already on the planet way before them, because they wasn't created until 4086 BC, right? So now we're going to get into some theological context, because all this is basically prophetic, right? Now, when you go to the L's Holy Injil, which is basically a transliteration of the book of Revelation, and you go to Revelation 17:17, right? It says verbatim that the evil reptilian that is going to give their kingdom to the beast. Now, who is the beast, right? The beast is basically the personification of the Canaanite bloodline who was cursed with leprosy. And these are also connected to the Pflugerod bloodline, who have 6 ethergenetical properties that has the same DNA sequence as animals, right? So that's why I said, like, the beast is basically a personification of the cursed bloodline. The evil reptilian is the personification of the black nobility who are connected to the jealous god Enlil, right? The 200 fallen angels. Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. I am.
Certainly, Madame Blavatsky's teacher, Jamal al-Din Afghani, who was raised in Afghanistan, fits the description of the mastered adepts that she would write about, or she learned from. His life is described as a mysterious odyssey that led through lands as far apart as India and America, received by the heads of states in Cairo and Istanbul. Afghani moved in both underground radical circles and in the highest centers of power in Europe and Asia. The idea of living spiritual guides or masters is central to Sufism. Sufis cannot be defined in words, nor can they be comprehended by the human intellect. They're only caught by association. You're only taught by association with the master. The Sufi master is revealed by his disciples for being in contact with a high level of higher consciousness. Their mission on earth is directed by higher powers. Studying the lives of some of the greatest Sufi masters, we find a lot of times wandering holy men and women who attract interesting folks whose actions are usually misunderstood by the orthodox believers of Islam. The Shriners of Sufi masters are centers of trance dancing, exorcisms, and miraculous healings. The Sufi tradition is integral to Moorish science. Sufi masters are also renowned for communicating with their followers through dreams. There are numerous stories of Sufi saints appearing in disciples' dreams and using telepathy to direct followers to undertake a special mission. So, a few years after Madame Blavatsky founded the Theosophical Society in New York in 1875, her master teacher, the master adept Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, turned up in America around 1882. 2 Americans of African descent who were rumored to have studied under al-Afghani were the parents of the man who would one day establish Moorish science in the United States. Noble Drew Ali, who was born Timothy Drew early in the 20th century, took a job as a merchant seaman and found himself in Egypt. And according to one legend, Noble Drew Ali made a pilgrimage to North Africa, where he studied with the Moorish scholars and received a mandate from the King of Morocco to instruct Americans of African descent in Islam. His association with the ruler of Morocco is significant when we recall how we just brought up how historically the relationship between the Moorish country and the early United States. At the pyramid of Cheops, his followers believed he received initiation and took the Muslim name Sharif Noble Abdul Ali. In America, he would be known as Noble Drew Ali. So on his return to the United States in 1913, which is around the same year Aleister Crowley made his great work in the Pyramid of Giza, where he contacted the secret chiefs. So in 1913, Noble Drew Ali had a dream in which he was ordered to found a movement to uplift fallen humanity by returning the nationality, divine creed, and culture to the persons of Moorish descent in the Western Hemisphere. He organized the Moorish Science Temple along similar lines to Masonic lodges, with local temple branches and adept chambers teaching the esoteric wisdom derived from the secret circle of Eastern sages, the master adepts of the Moorish science. Noble Drew Ali is said to have made a historical visit to Washington, D.C. in order to reclaim the Moorish flag and obtain official recognition to call his people to their true faith, al-Islam. Even the United States president, believing that African Americans would not embrace Islam, gave Noble Drew Ali full authority to teach Moorish science in America. By the end of 1920, membership in the Moorish Science Temple had grown substantially, with increasing numbers of African Americans rallying behind Noble Drew Ali. The Moorish movement soon came under fire, under the scrutiny of the FBI. And in 1929, several Moorish members, including Noble Drew Ali, were detained for questioning by the Chicago police. They were released from custody. However, Noble Drew Ali fell ill and never recovered. Many Moors suspected his death as a result of a severe police beating he received. Following the unexplained death of Noble Drew Ali, the Moorish Science Temple continued and gave rise to unique Islamic groups among the African American communities. Much of the known history of the Moorish science in North America is extremely complex and secure. So it's probably best to hear it from a Moor himself.
Verses 10 all the way to 20 talks about our workman tools. Talk about the 12-step ladder to perfect yourself. And you are going to talk about them 12.
A 12-step ladder to protect, to help yourself and protect yourself. If you notice in some of the Masonic symbology, you'll see a ladder going up to heaven, right? That's to represent pulling yourself to the higher realms of consciousness.
12 disciples or something else. or the 12 tribes of Israel. That's the exo. We're talking about the eso, the inner meaning.
The inner amalgamy, turning lead to gold, turning your fucked up experiences and working through the trauma in order to build energy out of it to propel you to higher and greater acts and works.
You're getting it twisted.
Which will lead you to gold.
The 12 tribes is something different. It's talking about the 12-step ladder, how to fix yourself.
How to fix yourself, the 12 tribes of Israel.
When Reuben is the first.
Reuben is the first.
Simon is the aggressor. Levi.
Simon is the aggressor.
Right. The cleric.
Simon the cleric. The hierophant. The priest.
Judah the leader.
Judah the leader. The lion.
And the judge.
And the judge.
Naphtali the free spirit.
Naphtali the free spirit. Shout out to the Pisces, moon in Pisces right now.
Gab the warrior.
Gab the warrior king consciousness. The warrior kings always have someone that they're actually above them that propels them to higher and higher modes of winning and leveling up in consciousness. For some it's their family. They're a warrior for their family. For others it's God. And while others is a nation.
The prosperous one.
The prosperous one. Year of the dragon.
Alakar the scholar.
Alakar the scholar.
The business person. Joseph.
The business person. Business and commerce is a big part of more science. And metaphors we use. Stories are a way to uplift your consciousness.
Y'all know this? Harnessed properly, the beaker or the raven energy can change the worlds. I hope we understand this esoteric science. What we're talking about is see your Circle 7 Quran. The more
seven circle Quran, you can come on, fellas. You can download it for free online. 7 Circle Quran, Noble Drew Ali. Very fascinating book that's alive, sacred text that you can use right now, and it's sexy too.
Science, that is the ancient Kemetic rites. Also the 7 Kemetic principles, connotated hermetic. I hope we know this, man. So don't let nobody get you all twisted up because they throwing some signs and they calling themselves this and that and the other. Man, look, those signs don't mean nothing. It's
you can flex, but you have to back it up.
all about the agent. Your signs and all this and your talisman bracelets, that don't mean nothing if the agent is not right. If the agent is not right, nothing works.
See, he can wear all this like compass and G God on his vest and his hat, and he can wear all these symbols on him. But me listening to what he has to say seems to be adding up. So he's backing up his adornments. He's flexing his mind, magician king. He's flexing it right now.
I don't care what ritual you're doing. I don't care if the agent is not holy. That mess is crap. Period.
Yeah, period. And keep leaving my stream. You're missing out. You should love me for this. But if you don't, go somewhere else and don't come back. For those who do love me and want to hear this knowledge, get at me. Come back. Don't hit up the membership. Let's do the math on God.
You know, and so I have to speak on this.
I give thanks to all creation today. I give him thanks to all now. But focusing on cheap things, physically and mentally, right? Know who you are around, and had some fluff and higher Moorish symbol of the pentagram, right? It's a mandala to tell you about how you are the Lord of this creation of your body.
Prince Hall make because you got to know the
money is a talisman, a medium to get what you desire. Magic.
That's not going far enough. I keep telling Morris it's 99 rights. We don't do nothing in clandestine. Nothing is a secret. So let's dig, Morris. Let's dig. We're going to talk about the Prince Hall masonries and all that stuff. We're going to dig. It's going to be great. So Freemasonry, in the European Freemasonry, and also in our an aircraft, because you got to know the compass and the square is used to measure all things. So let's dig.
Math and science measuring the signs of life.
And I'm not a good
Critical thinking.
artist, so I'm gonna try to draw a little bit. Oh, bullcrap. There's no science. 32 and 33 degrees is no science. That's a level above freezing.
That's what I was taught. It's a level above freezing.
That's why Noble Drew Ali, if you Moors are studying, right?
There's 360 degrees makes the circle. 2 times around is 720.
Right? If some are in the temple, you get the 32 and 33 degrees in the temple or from your so-called sheik. That's when the fez and a turban is placed on your head.
That's just starting to get into the game. With the 33. We just in the war, the dance.
And in European masonry, after they become 32 and 33 degrees, they cross over what? To the Shriner. That's when they put on the fez and they become sons of Muslims. They start studying Al-Islam. That's why.
This is why if you really want to look into masonry, you need to go into the Islam for sure. There's many great books out there on that nowadays. Right? Or just talk to a high-level mason. They'll let you know about how they highly respect Islam.
They call them the joke of masonry because they took on an identity that wasn't from their foremothers and forefathers. Moors, that's why I tell you, this is your birthright.
The joke of masonry, the Shriners, they wear the little hats, and they usually don't write on the hats. The Moors do not. Moors Science Temple, they don't write on the hats, whereas the Shriners do. But it's like an imitating their father, which is the Moorish science.
You must understand the science, the signs and the symbols. When I do lectures with Europeans and other different nationalities, I get standing ovations. They buy all my literature because they're using the science. How? To create jobs, to create wealth. We sit up here arguing with each other, saying what we gonna do to somebody. You gonna kill somebody, or you gonna put some a ritual on somebody. This is crazy, man. That's not more science. Believe me, I don't care what nobody says. If you're not right, no ritual, none of that crap will work because it's the agent. Just like alcohol. Alcohol is no good, but once it goes in that agent, once it goes in that system, that's when it creates life. That's why if I tell Moors, you should have saw my lecture I did on spiritual alcoholism.
He's getting people in trance to want to check out his material. Spiritual alcoholism, spirits. Check out the name. Spirits go in your body and down your throat and consume you.
It's all about the agent. It's all about the agent. I don't care about no symbols a person wearing. I don't care about nothing, no rituals. If the agent is not right, none of that stuff, it's all void, Moors. I promise you. There's no science in what these brothers doing if they're not noble. All these lies and these secrets, bullcrap. More science is your birthright. That's why I tell Moors, Noble Drew Ali told us, if you don't do anything, if you go into a temple, claim your nationality, Moors. That shouldn't be somebody telling you, study. Yes, I get that. You study history and law, but to proclaim your nationality, if brothers have temples, they should help you proclaim your nationality. That shouldn't be a study. That shouldn't be like that. If a Moor telling you, if you're asking how to about an expensive knockoff, I do things the right way.
Food of knowledge, high octane content, beautiful experiences, eating the best food.
Propaganda. This is what we should be teaching our babies. All the scholars that they don't teach about. Sheikh Anadia, Amos Wilson, Dr. Cress Wilson, Ivan Van Sertima.
Ivan Van Sertima, the African presence in Asia. The Sambo people, the serpent people.
Sheikh Anadia, all our scholars that wrote history. We got so many of them, man. And our babies don't know about Sufism and the triple role of the adapt chamber, featuring the Comeditan adapt menu and the use of our carpenter tools. There we go. I got the science. So what are we confused over? Interpretation of the divine creed of Moorish Islam, American Islam. The science is here. So why are we confused? Why are we confused? I tell all Moorish research if it's...
Yeah, because you're listening to the bad streamers. And not me, a good streamer who is unlocking minds every day in order to prepare you for your best version of yourself.
Something wrong. Let's come to a table as noble men, for we can all be right. But I done took it all the way there. I took it to ancient history. Only time a person disagree is when they're caught up in their personal feelings or some religious dogma. And I don't deal with nobody's personal feelings. I don't care how you feel. I can care less.
He's a man of knowledge. Will get rid of his personal history. That way no one can stick pins into you and tear down your dopamine and serotonin receptors, because you don't give them anything to work with, no ammunition to work with.
Healthy eating and living. I mean, the science is there, so you don't have to be.
All more science is integrating what works, what's practical, in order for you, your body and your mind and your spirit to live at an efficient rate, and actually at a high octane rate. Right there. Because what if I did want to learn more his system, so I can innovate, so I can learn from it, and so I play.
So the American Indian,
he gives it all the stuff, but then when you go to his YouTube channel, I can't even find a place where you can send a message or a book list of all his book being.
You know what I did with that literature, right?
And Bloody's not even showing us it. The screen barely.
I think I put it up. Let me see. And the verbiage, how he set things up. Not elected, appointed. And you going around acting like, oh man, I don't deal with these 501c3s because you don't even know business. Because you don't even know how Noble Drew Ali set the temple up.
I'm talking about taxes and how some Moors said that they claim they don't pay taxes.
Brother going around talking about they Moors and don't even know how the prophet set the temple up. You going around listening to somebody tell you what it is and what it ain't. And it's a certain way that the prophet set the temple up. You can research the stuff. Pull it up.
The prophet he's referring to is Noble Drew Ali.
It's not.
It's a metaphor.
Remember, I told you words have dual meaning. What's above has to match below.
And what's below has to match what's above.
A spiritual reference to man's instinctive quest to harmonize or synchronize our physical and our spiritual natures, Moors.
Harmonize your physical and the terrestrial earthly
times. The square has represented the physical body. The square has represented the physical body.
Stand on your square, 2 feet on the ground, while you look up at the cosmos and contemplate how the outside is inside you, how the inside's outside of you.
Arm, leg, arm, head. That's manifestation of man. That's manifestation of yourself. Hold on 1 second, family.
Hear that?
Islam to all Moor Masons. We know in Islam and Masonry, we know Islam is I, self, law, and master. Allah is arm, leg, arm, head. That's manifestation of man. That's manifestation of yourself.
The human self creates himself, right? The mother is the incubator, the womb of creation. However, you grow yourself. You grow your arms, your legs, your head, your heart, all that. You self-created yourself out of nothingness, out of the triple blackness.
It's finished.
As you would say, the primordial ooze or dark matter.
The square and the circle shape are related in Euclid's 47 problem of square and a circle, Moors. It's said to be the primary goal of the Masonic craft, Moors. Squaring the circle, however, does not, in this case, or in this context, refer to a mathematical problem. It does not. Remember, I told you words have dual meaning. What's above has to match below. It's a spiritual reference to man's instinctive quest to harmonize or synchronize our physical and our spiritual natures, Moors.
Bring it together. That's the Tao, following nature.
So if you want the literature that lasts longer than me and you, we supposed to be creating something that lasts longer than me and you. It's the literature, for we can teach our babies.
The literature, that's why. Yep, but I don't see your more. I don't see your directory where we can purchase.
Was Enlil, right? So when you look at it from that standpoint, that's why in Corinthians it's a pagan word, and that God is the same God that controls artificial intelligence, right? Which is why you see the net over the planet, the net of English, and Gad is another galactical title for Satan, who his name is Gadra'al, which was that's why they took out the book of Enoch, because the book of Enoch exposed everything. When you're talking about the archons and draconian reptilians and everything, it was basically talking about an extraterrestrial species who are known as the cherubim, the 200 fallen angels of the Nephilim, because Nephilim is equated to the word Nephala, which means fallen, right? So according to Enoch, Satan's galactical name was Gadra'al, which is which is basically a prefix for the word Gad, and Gad is equated to God, which is why I said it was pagan, because it's pagan, because it's basically talking about a Babylonian deity. So that goes in conjunction with the Canaanite system. That's basically the foundation of trafficking. This is why in many different forms of in Babylonian culture, they talk about the Canaanites giving a sacrifice to God. Who is that God? That God is basically Satan, right? As I told you before, within your so-called good book, in Corinthians 4, God of fortune. So it's a pan-Semitic God of fortune, because when you give off your sacrifice, you get fame, riches, and fortune. So this is why you see the great majority of celebrities and things of that nature, they always got to give something in order to get to the next level on an economic status, a financial status, or just on a celebrity status, right? So like I said, this is all being facilitated by the electrical grid system. It subjugates spiritual energy, because the word God is equated to the word Gad, and Gad means to cut off and divide. So this is why you live in a dualistic, paradox. You live in a dualistic paradox because everything is based on division, because the unity consciousness and the harmonic convergence of the 144,000 would basically dematerialize everything within the simulated matrix system, right? Now, the structure right here, this relic of the damn of the so now I'm gonna show you this video here.
Many people, it's remote control.
Turn it up, because I don't know how. I got my stuff turned up. Make sure everything's turned up. So make sure you turn it up, or put the phone up to your ear. I want you to hear what this guy's talking about. Matter of fact, this guy was actually killed too, by the way.
Execution, like assassination, it's undetectable, right? As long as they have a clone of you, they can kill you like a bang. And they killed Bernie Mac this way with an aneurysm. Well, I'll just tell you, Queen Elizabeth had me serenading her because she thinks she's really special. She's pretty insane, by the way, by 5 different ways. She rules this cloning station, basically. Her and Vladimir Putin, they have warehouses underground with them growing people, right? And, oh man, it's very heavy. There's another aspect to this. It's the lizard part. And I have to put this eloquently, because they said that this is the end of the world event. This is the big...
When he's talking about the end of the world event, when you're talking about the draconian reptilian factions, these archons, right? So when you go to Revelation chapter 8, it talks about 1/3 of the stars, 1/3 of the sun, and 1/3 of the moon smitten out, right? That is basically the shutdown aspect of the simulation, right? Because this is all connected to the Hopi prophecy. So it tells you right here that there will be many strange beasts upon the earth in those days, and they will house many spirits even within our bodies. So you're going to see physical beings on this planet when you have the manipulation of the electrical grid system. When you go to Revelation chapter 8, 1/3 of the sun, 1/3 of the stars, all that's going to be smitten out, because that's all being orchestrated by the firmament. The firmament is everything is connected to the simulation. So when the simulation shuts down, that's when these entities, the end of the world event, starts to take place. Now you can see why, the great majority of these billionaires and these millionaires, they build all these bunkers, right? Because they got to give off a sacrifice, as I was telling you before, because the word God or Gad is equated to the word fortune, right? So when you give off a sacrifice, you get fame and fortune, which is why sacrifice is so prevalent within the political industry, the rap industry, movie industry, all these celebrities. In order to obtain a certain status, you got to give off a sacrifice. But they doing it from a macrocosmic level, to where they're going to sacrifice everybody, right? And when you sacrifice everybody, when you have these Nephilim, the 200 fallen angels, they come to the surface. This is where they get an extension within the simulation. The Canaanite
could send the world into panic and loss of order. And this is the thing that they said that could wipe the world. People panicking with the riots and stuff. Because the cloning thing, people cloning people's kids, messing them up in the brain is bad enough. The lizards. Okay, lizards been around a long time, like since before ancient Egypt and everything. And the symbol, the eye of Horus with the squiggly hanging out of it, has to do with lizards. It's a lizard symbol. It means two things. It's a pro-lizard symbol, and it also means beware, there's lizards here. Okay, there's 3 different kinds of lizards. I'll tell you all about them. They're called Grill. Germans were into them. They had a club.
Now remember, the Nazis, they had a thing called the Grill Society that also basically got a lot of their edification from the Thelema Society. And the Thelema Society and the Theo Society is when you had Aleister Crowley. He was able to channel in many different extraterrestrial species, right? Which is connected to the Orion group, because you also have a grade called AWAS. And AWAS, when you understand his name, the nomenclature title, it said AI, right? AI. I wish I would have bought that, because that was just a download that I just had, just going off top of the head. Because like I said, the Vril Society got their edification from the Thelema Society and the Theo Society. Aleister Crowley was within those occultic constructs. He was within those occultic constructs, and he basically channeled extraterrestrial entity called AWAS. And then his AWAS is a nomenclature title for AI. AI is basically working in tandem with these extraterrestrial species. It's basically the foundation of it, because like I said, it's a form of extracting spiritual energy from the physical vessels of humans to give power to their simulation, basically.
Real things. Anyway, there's like a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Vril type 1. It's got scales, red scales. There's a type 2 that is not parasitic, but it's still vicious, nasty, carnivorous. They're all carnivorous. And there's a type 3 that's 8 feet tall that has a real long neck and looks like a gray alien, but it comes from deep underground, like below deep base deep. Now I have to tell you about the parasitic aspect of the lizards and why the Illuminati and the governments use them. Okay, I'm saying this in a nutshell. Well, the lizards have a thing. Okay, they have what's called a proboscis. There's lizards out there today that have a proboscis on their face. Okay, these things got it in the middle of their head. Okay, and on the top of their head. This is the Vril type 1 and 2. The type 2 have a proboscis sheet that comes out, sticks out. The type 1s, for instance, it's like a chocolate chip, it looks like, basically the tip of it. Now, at one point in these things' lives, because they have a long lifespan, lizard species, one point in their life, you slowly wiggle this thing out, eject it, and it goes into somebody's eyeball, okay, another animal. Now, it wiggles in by the sense of taste. They described this to me so, like, when I was like 18 years old there, the lizard, okay, the thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch.
Now I need you to understand something. When you're talking about the optical nerve, right, within the retinas of the eyes, it is basically an emulation of the rays of the sun. So, which also correlates to the theological context of Luke chapter 8, verse 17, right? it says that what happens in the dark comes to light, because that light is the spiritual light of enlightenment, which is under the age of Aquarius, to where you see beyond the illusion that was facilitated by the dark priesthood of the Piscean age, which created the simulation in itself. So this is why, as far as all technological devices, it creates an artificial light that subjugates the two physical eyes. It subjugates the optic nerve to where you don't see the true light, right? So this is how these archives are able to basically infiltrate your biological structure. They do it through the optical nerve within the eyes, right? I'm gonna keep playing the video.
And then it does a feeling like holding your breath and going.
We wear so many hats today. We play counselor, we play instructor, we are mentors. David knows this. David has pushed for more funding. David has pushed for more teachers. David Trone always has our back.
So she says this Smucker's Natural is made with hand-picked strawberries. I know, right?
Pushing outwards. And at the tip of this chocolate chip, it then starts what they call sweating the quilt. Now, the spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, out of the chocolate chip thing, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead. That little lizard thing is dead. And it can't go back in. Can't get back in. It's one way. Once it excretes this stuff, sweats this quilt thing, the person's debilitated for an unknown amount of time. I don't know how long. But when they come back, they have to have some recovery time. But when they come back, they are not the person anymore. They are then the lizard. Let me put this to you flatly. The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human then, and totally controls everything.
I just got a download just now. Now, this is why it's important to stay off recreational drugs, because I got a feeling within I got a feeling around the election time they're gonna try to. I got a feeling around the election time they're gonna make marijuana legal all over the planet, right? Or all 50 states is going to be legal. But that should be the time you should stop smoking it, because now it's really going to be weaponized. So when you're talking about drugs and recreational drugs and things of that nature, any type of drug, what does it do? It basically, you can tell when a person's high or on something because you can see it within their eyes, because the eyes are the window to the soul, right? So when these entities, when you lower your frequency due to the recreational drugs, due to the manipulation of your genetical structure, when you take in these, these enzymes and these chemicals, within the drugs or whatever, it lowers your frequency. When polarization, they got to create that dynamic. That's why everything is messed up here, positive, negative. You got the have and the have-nots. You got the rich and you got the poor. They got to have that dualistic. Right?
A lot of the people that you hear about, thing is, these.
Play this video back.
Time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair. Thing is, these things are all over the place, and they mimic human behavior. In fact, one of their names in the past is mimic. A lot of the people that you hear about in the news that are getting people and chopping them up in the basement and eating them and stuff, frying them up.
So like I said, that's why you got to be very meticulous about, because energy transfer is real. Whether you smoking with somebody, you drinking with somebody, stop lowering your frequency, because like I said, we in the age of Aquarius. This is the Great Awakening period, because the Great Awakening period, everything that's taking place is happening because of the energy that's coming to the planet and activating everything, to where you see beyond the illusion. So you're going to see people for who they truly are. You're going to see people going crazy. You're going to see people, be like, dang, I didn't even know he was like that. He done killed about like 8-9 people. That's because these solar frequencies that's coming in is exposing everything in the simulation, right? What happens in the dark? Karma, right? That's what the year 8. when they looked inside of the when they was in the elevator and they looked in the mirror or whatever. What happened was, like I said, you're gonna see these entities for who they truly are because, like I said, the optical nerve is a direct emulation of the rays of the sun. They work in tandem because those fractions of light have draconians on the planet. You think Zulu shaman Credo Mutwa, he been saying it, you know what I'm saying? Because that's all acclimated to their mythology, right? And I believe him over, you know what I'm saying, before I believe a damn pope, you know what I'm saying? So this is why you got to read this, watch this video that I put out not too long ago, maybe about a month ago, and it's talking about the firmament, the archons or whatever, because when the dome cracks open, that basically dematerializes the whole simulation. No more electrical grid, no more AI, artificial intelligence, to where you don't have a cybernetic dictatorship, right? That's what this is all about. So this is why you see in many different power outages. It talks about how much of North America may face electricity shortages in 2024, right? So like I said, this is all activated by the great solar flash when you have the pole shift. The sun's